If you know anything about Japan, you know one of the things that Japan is known for is their vending machines. And what's great about their vending machines, it's very accessible. So if you want to drink, if you need like a snack or anything like that, it's usually around every corner. And so it's pretty much everywhere you go in Japan, you could just walk around the corner and there'll be a vending machine readily available if you're thirsty and you just want a drink, or if you just want a snack. But mostly the vending machines that are accessible are usually drinks. And I've had a great experience with the vending machines. They have been so great for me. It's been one of the things that I do like about Japan is just having those vending machines accessible. And I would usually use them to get my drinks, get my bottle of water and my coffee, whether it's canned or bottled, every morning. And usually getting the occasional drinks on whatever I'm feeling on that day. There was just that one instance. It was a work day, and I believe it was a Thursday. I There was a vending machine. There's two vending machines right next to the station that I get off on the town that I work at, and it's right across the street of the station. And on occasion, I would go there to get my bottle of water and my bottle of coffee. It was just that one day where I used 1,000 yen bill and it just ate it and it didn't return to me. In fact, I just put it in and I pushed the button of the drink that I wanted, and thinking that the bottle was going to come out, but it didn't. But the bill was trying to come back out and return to me, but it ended up getting stuck. And you could barely see a little piece of the bill that's trying to come out, but not enough for me to be able to pull it out with my hands. And so I'm just there contemplating for about 5 minutes, wondering how I could pull this out. And the best way is probably having a tweezer, but I did not have one on hand. And I just realized that I had to get to work, that I can't stay there for any longer, and I just accepted the fact that this 1,000 yen is just gonna be a loss for me. And on top of that, I'm not gonna get my drinks because I actually didn't have enough coins as well to buy the drinks that I wanted. So not only did I not get the drinks that I wanted, but I also didn't have enough coins to buy uh, the drinks, and also I lost $1,000 or 1,000 yen. And so it was actually 2 days later that I went back. I had to go to work on a Saturday because there was a important school event, kind of like a culture festival going on for that Saturday. And obviously, I go through my train route. I get off the station that I work at in that town. I go back to the vending machine because I'm thirsty and I need a drink. And I go to that same vending machine and I see the bill still stuck on that vending machine. And me being the smart person that I am, I I use that machine once again, but I'm smart enough to recognize that I can't use the bill. I can't use another bill to insert because there's obviously one stuck in there. But me thinking, well, surely the coins should work, right? But I think there was a sign, like a red lighted lettering saying it probably doesn't work. But it's in Japanese, so obviously I can't read that. But I'm thinking, okay, maybe the coin slot still works. So I put in a 500 yen coin in there, and lo and behold, it does get stuck. can't get my drink. It won't return. The vending machine is broken. And so now I'm just upset at this point because I fell for it for the second time when I probably shouldn't have messed with it. But I gave it the benefit of the doubt, thinking, well, at least it'll still accept coins, right? And obviously, the inability to read the kanji on the vending machine, which probably said that it doesn't work, doesn't help as well. And so I'm just standing there looking for a way if I could talk to customer service, if there's some way that I could get this money back. Because at this point, I'm down 1,500 yen with no drinks on hand. And obviously, so they have a phone number, they have a QR code, and I can't read it, but it seems like if you do the QR code, there must be some contact or customer service support in Japanese. And with the number, I don't know if I could call it and try to speak Japanese because my Japanese is just not fluent. But maybe with the QR code, there might be some way for me to get that money back. And so I do the QR code, I scan it, and I realize, okay, there seems to be like an online form that you could do to possibly get contact back and possibly get the money back. But it's a long shot, right? Because it's all in Japanese. But maybe they have a translation in English. I don't think there was, but how I went about it is I screenshotted it, I Google translated it, and step by step each page, I read the translation and answered it accordingly, and actually was able to submit my customer service request, right? And it responded that they will contact me later in the day. So I was doing this, filling out the support form on the way to my workplace, to the school that I'm supposed to go to. And so I'm thinking, okay, I've gotten this far. I don't know what's going to happen once a person calls me. I got to find a way to communicate with this person. Maybe I have to use Google Translate as I'm speaking to this customer service representative that will potentially call me. But in my head, I'm thinking, well, I made it this far. I'm sure there's a way that I can communicate it. But that's all I'm thinking at this point. And I just carry on with my day, and I just gotta focus on the task at hand with the work stuff that I have to do. And so we get around lunchtime, and I noticed that my phone is buzzing, and I'm assuming, okay, maybe it's the customer support person. And so I look at my phone and I realize, oh, okay, it's a Japanese number, so it's gotta be. It's a random number that I don't even know. And I couldn't answer at the time because I was eating lunch and I was still in the work environment, so it wouldn't be appropriate for me to answer. But a brilliant idea, epiphany came to my head. I'm like, okay, someone called me. I know I can't speak Japanese, but maybe one of my coworkers can help me out. And so one of the coworkers that I befriended, that I teach support in teaching English for his class, since he's one of the main English teachers of my school, I asked him for a favor. I say, hey, can you help me? I've got my money stuck at a vending machine. They didn't return it. I couldn't get my drinks, and it seems like the customer support is calling me. Do you think you could talk to them and help me out here? And he was gracious enough to do that for me. And so, we go outside and we make the call through my phone. And one one side tangent that I want to mention is I put on speaker, and he's actually not a very tech savvy guy. In fact, he's probably stays away from technology. I mean, he even carries like a flip phone. But that's beside the point. I think why I bring that up is because I put it on speaker so for both of us to hold, and he puts it right next to his ear, so I could still hear the conversation. But I try to tell him it's on speaker. He doesn't need to put it right by his ear. But I just thought, in the midst of that, that was just hilarious. But anyways, I was able to hear the conversation. I get a gist of what the guy was saying and what they were talking about. And he's able to explain the fact that my vending machine, or my money got stuck in that vending machine. The people working for that vending machine, whatever company that is, are aware that the vending machine is not working. Somehow the vending machines are able to send a signal back to like the company, to the headquarters or whatever, and they're aware of the fact that the vending machine is malfunctioning. So they are aware to some extent that there's something wrong with it, and they do probably believe the fact that it has taken my money, and so they're trying to coordinate the time of when they can make an appointment to actually bring the money to me. And yeah, my coworker did a great job of just setting up a time. Hey, we're gonna be here this week at this school, so if you want to come by around this day, then you could return the money then, and I will be available to pick it up. And so 2 days later, on a Tuesday in the afternoon, actually the guy called back my coworker. My coworker actually gave him his phone number and said, hey, we're gonna come around 3, we're gonna drop off the money. And around that time, the money was returned to me, and I got my money back, 1,500 yen. And so, and one thing that I do want to point out if we want to rewind, the day before on a Monday, it was actually my day off, and I actually went to the town. I went back to the town that I worked at, even though I didn't have work, because there's a really good ramen shop there that is pretty famous. And I went early in the morning. Well, not too early, but I went in the morning. I had my delicious ramen. I went back to the vending machine, and I noticed that there were some tourists there. Now, the town that I work at is a tourist town because people go to that town to go to these famous caves in Fukushima-ken, in that little town. So you do see tourists come by and take a taxi, take the train, and go all the way up to the caves. And I noticed they were tourists, and then they seemed to be waiting for a taxi, and they wanted a drink. But I felt obligated to tell them, like, hey, that vending machine doesn't work. And I actually looked at the vending machine, and I noticed the bill still sticking out. It's still not working. So I know with my little Japanese, I had to resort to Google Translate. And basically I just told him, hey, please don't use this vending machine. It doesn't work. You could see my bill sticking out right there. So a lot of Google Translate, a little bit of my own Japanese that I know. And what's funny is one of the ladies was very kind enough to pull out a tweezer and try to pull out the money, but as she was trying to do that, a piece of the bill actually like ripped out, and I'm like, oh, it's okay, daijoubu desu, it's okay, you don't have to do that. I'm gonna get my money back this week, so please do not worry about that bill. I'm sure they will fix it and I'll get my money back. But please don't use it, because I don't want you to lose the money, because I lost it. My bill got stuck there. They took my coin, and I don't want the same to happen to you. And so that was actually the day before I got my money back on Tuesday. So, um, yeah, why do I tell that story? Well, it's just that, 1% of the time that things go wrong, right? And when all the 99% of the time things are just normal, everything works like the way it's supposed to. And so, I mean, why do I tell the story? What are the takeaways? It's like, well, obviously there's always going to be some type of obstacle, some type of inconvenience that come your way in life. Um, and sometimes if that inconvenience arises, at least with my mindset, I try to make things right and try to redeem whatever it is that I lost, or try to overcome this obstacle that is in my way. Or, initially like accepting the defeat and just moving on with my life. But due to the sequence of events, it brought me to a place where, okay, I need to resolve this. And what makes it harder is, I gotta do this in a foreign country where Japanese is not my primary language. While if I were to do this in America, calling customer support and trying to retrieve something of my loss, that's not a very hard thing to do. I'm very accustomed to doing that. But doing that in a foreign country, with a foreign language that I'm not an expert in, is trying to figure out how I navigate through that. And I just went for it. It's part of my stubbornness, my personality, my persistence that made me just go for it. Like, I'm gonna get my money back. I don't know exactly how, but if there's a will, there's a way. And in this case, it actually paid off. And step by step, I really didn't know how I was gonna get my money back, but the mindset and the goal was to get it at whatever cost, right? And one thing led to another, and opportunities came by, and also with the help of my coworker and friend, I was able to get my money back. And it just goes to show, just maybe my personality, my stubbornness, dealing with the obstacles and still trying to find a way, with my will and determination, but also recognizing that I could not have done it on my own. And with the help of my coworker, my Japanese friend and coworker, who was so kind and gracious that I actually was wanting to pay him back for his help, but he said something that was so great, and so relieving. Where I said, can I buy you something from the booth or stand or drink for just your help? And he just said so graciously, I did it as a favor, as a friend, and I was very touched by that, and I really appreciated that, and I really do appreciate that relationship and that friendship. And he probably wouldn't have helped me out if we didn't have that relationship in the first place. So goes to show, how kind, just the Japanese people are, because it's not just him as a coworker and friend, but also the customer service, and probably what's instilled in the culture of just returning things that belong to someone else, or making up for things that are lost, because it's a culture where, people don't really, it's pretty rare for people to steal. It's pretty normal for people to return their belongings. And for me to have this issue with the vending machine, and for them to make it up and acknowledge that there was something wrong with the vending machine, and to provide a service to actually bring the money back, where I was located at my work. What a great service that is, right? So it goes to show kind of like the Japanese culture intertwined with like my own personality and my persistence to get this money back. A combination of these things is just some takeaways that I get out of it. And it's not like this amazing story or this crazy story to tell. It's just like a normal, unfortunate sequence of events that has happened, for me, for something that I've lost but try to get back, to deal with an obstacle or challenge that was in my way, but somehow through help, will, and determination, I was able to get back what I've lost or overcome this obstacle that was in front of me. And so, even such a short and simple story like that, there's a lot to show about, I guess, the culture, people, their personalities, and just, I guess, a desire to overcome adversity and a desire to help people. All that has just played out into the story and just made me reflect on it. And even as I tell it to you in this video, I just realized, wow, there's just a lot that I've just recognized and really take away from this simple story of me dealing with just a minor issue with the Japanese vending machine. So that is my story with the vending machine. So even with that 1% of an issue with the Japanese vending machine, it was resolved, and it came out to be, I guess, a pretty nice story to tell.